Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the weekly meeting of the Cary Rotary Club, the friendliest club in District 17. Glad you all are here today. We have an all points bulletin alert out for the microphone for today's meeting. So in the meantime, I'm going to speak loudly. Let me know if you can't hear. I'd like to ask Aiden Jones to come up and give our invocation and start our pledge of allegiance.
Afternoon. Thank you, Mr. President. Let's pray. Here in our club, where we find consistency or constancy in Rotary and sincerity in our friendship, the sound of Rotarians' laughter and lighten every load. May the spirit of Rotary fellowship shorten every road. May we taste the sweetest pleasures of fortune ever bestowed. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Fine form today, everyone. Thank you. So delighted that we have some guests with us today. I'll ask our attention Governor Tim Harris to introduce our guests.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Stan. This is Stan Gustad. He didn't even get somebody to invite him. He just came and showed up. All right. So I tell me where you're from.
We are from Minnesota and Arizona, and we left Arizona about 8 months ago to just come here.
Welcome
to Arizona.
Well, thank you for coming. All right. We appreciate it.
Another guest show up today.
All right. Scott Alvaro? Yes. Say it right.
From where? Washington, D.C.
Got it right. We don't hold that against you. They never told me. Well, here. What brought you? Okay, that's good. All right, thank you. Welcome aboard.
I'd like to introduce you to Nancy Hayward. Some of you may know her. She's local, but she's from the Cary Kildare Club, and she's the liaison with the Cary High School Rotary Club, and she's going to explain to Bill and I and some others after we meet today how that works.
Okay. Well, Nancy. Thank you, Tim, and welcome to our guests. We're delighted to have you back with us again today. It's welcome, Stan. Welcome, Nancy. So we have a number of announcements here. We have an exciting display right over here. I'd ask Bill Fletcher to come up and tell you what that's all about.
Thank you, President. As most of you know, there's no mic, so I didn't for this, I need to come up. As most of you know, we sponsor a program to help the struggling readers in elementary school called Read a Book, Get a Book. Tonight, we will be making gift presentations to 4 different PTAs, telling them about Rotary, about our club, and about the Read a Book program. And you see the presentation checks there. One of them is actually going to have to be used twice. We'll just change the name on there. But I want to thank Bob Griffin, Camille Hedberg, and Robin Lane, who's worked with us on the Read a Book program for helping out. And that's what we're doing. The funds raised and matched by the district are being put to good use, helping young people who struggle to read, learn to read by this Read a Book program. So thank you for your continued support.
So thank you for all the work that the committee does. Let's ask our membership committee chair, Bob Griffin, to come up. He's to make a special presentation today.
That's really good people. Starling to join me. Looks like he's going to play defensive end for
Like the Fox,
NC State. Well, I have the good fortune today of recognizing Van's work onboarding as a member of our club. It was a great day back in November, I think, when Van was inducted as a member, and since that time, he's been quickly got involved in a lot of what we're doing in terms of volunteering out in the community, getting involved as a greeter, participating in our session, which is essentially the roadmap that's contained in our Red Badge program. So having duly completed all of those requirements, then I want to award you for the blue. I'll exchange it for your red. There, good help. Congratulations.
Congratulations, man. Thank you, Bob. Thank you for leading our membership committee. Just a couple of reminders here. How we doing now? So just as a reminder, and this is the last time I get to remind you of this, the Cary My Tree, Our Tree program. Town of Cary is giving away 500 trees. They're looking for volunteers to help. Many of you have already signed up to volunteer for the town of Cary. Thank you all for that. Again, it's October 14th and 15th. There's a link to register if you're still interested and have time available this weekend. There's a link in the email that was sent out this week. Let's see. Renee is not online. So let me ask Camille Metric to come up and talk about Pints for Polio.
I'm speaking for Renee right now. Renee is down with COVID, mild symptoms, and we'll send our thoughts and prayers to her. So Pints for Polio is our support effort to donate to the cause to fight polio. We do this every year. It's October 25th at the Cotton House. We're all going to bring $9. $3 vaccinates a person for life against polio. So we're going to donate $3 each when we come. So we're all going to come. Let's just all go ahead and commit to that. It's okay to bring your children, your family, everybody you want to bring. 11 or 9 and a proposed possible, I don't know what we're going to call it. Our 9 new impact members, and we have 2 more proposed that are coming out and they come out yet. That are Rod's going to talk to you about that. So we're going to induct our new impact team members, and that's, I don't know how to say how exciting all this is. So it's going to be a really good night, and we possibly will lift a pint or 2 and have some joviality at the same time. All right. I think 5:30 to 8:30, something like that. And we will provide the food, and it's going to be a cash bar. And you just come and bring fun and spirits and $9 and cash for the bar. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Camille. And huge thanks to Renee, who's organizing this event. And did we mention that District Governor Nathan Thomas is going to be joining us for the evening? So he'll be here to induct our new impact team members. And, this is a really great opportunity for us to make a difference with polio and to welcome some new members to our club. You'll get a chance to meet them. So please plan on joining us. That again is October 25th. Lastly, I would be remiss on behalf of Kevin Peach, our club treasurer, if I didn't mention that your club dues invoices went out last week. So look for those in your email, and please be sure to get those paid promptly. With that, yes, Frank.
We encourage everyone to pay online and talk again.
Indeed, Frank, thank you. And for those on Zoom, Frank was mentioning that we encourage everyone to pay online. To do that, you've received an email with your invoice attached, and there's a link there to just click the pay here online. It takes you right to PayPal, and you process that online. So easiest way to do it. And thanks everybody for your support, which enables us to do things like support PTAs through the Read a Book program. All right. So our Sergeant at Arms is not here today, so let me invite anyone to share a miracle moment. Who would like to share a miracle moment? I'll kick us off. So miracle moment number one, my wife Cary and daughter Vivian and I went to New York last week. We were able to see Into the Woods. It's a show on Broadway. And the miracle moment is this, that my daughter, who's 13 years old now, 8th grade, she has gotten the role of the narrator, which is kind of one of the lead parts in Into the Woods at Moore Square Middle School. So I'm very proud of her and happy to offer a happy dollar on her behalf and celebrate that. My miracle moment. Thank you. Other miracle moments, things to be grateful for. Guys travel recently? Okay. A very content bunch today. This is okay. Well, let's just all be grateful for the beautiful day it is outside and the fact that it's getting cooler. And you know what cooler means? It means it's time for start planning our chili dinner. And we'll be hearing more about that a little bit later on over the next few weeks. So excited about that. With that, we're delighted to have our speakers here with us today. And to introduce our speakers, I'll invite Bill Fletcher up.
Thank you, President Rod. Our guest speaker brought with her right arm in terms of the magnet coordinator at Wake Early College of Health and Sciences, Robin McAllister. We're very glad to have you here. And I think we'll be hearing from you before you leave. So our key speaker today is Lisa Cummings, who's principal of the Wake Early College of Health and Sciences in Raleigh. As the instructional leader, she provides the staff with the resources, time, and space to develop and deliver innovative and practical instruction to a fantastic group of students. Lisa has served as an administrator, teacher, and coach in both Wake and Carteret counties since, and she earned her Bachelor of Science degree in English from Radford University. She's earned a Master's in School Administration from NC State, and was a North Carolina Principal Fellow at NC State. And she's currently working on a doctorate in educational leadership at NC State. Okay, Lisa and her family enjoy gardening, cooking, sports, and traveling. Lisa, please come take the podium and get me out of trouble.
I'll pretend like I'm adjusting the mic, right, just to make me feel good about it. Well, thank you for having me here this evening. Can everyone hear my voice? Or this afternoon, well enough. So we were invited here this evening or this afternoon to talk about Wake Early College. And I've had the pleasure of being at Wake Early College for over 10 years now. And if you know anything about principals these days, they don't last anywhere for 10 years, either by force or by choice. And to have stayed in one school for 10 years, specifically a high school in this day and age, means only one thing, and either that I'm doing a really bad job and I'm not making any waves, or that that's a really amazing place to be. And I'm going to tell you it's option 2. This is a really amazing, amazing school to work at. But you've already heard from an early college earlier, if I understand. And they're not quite as good as us. No, I'm just kidding. I love our friends, and I love Wake STEM Early College as well. But I'm going to tell you about Wake Early College. So we were the first Wake Early College of Health and Sciences. I have to be clear about that now, because now there are 2 early colleges in Wake County, Wake Early Colleges in Wake County. Wake Early College of Health and Sciences, I feel funny standing back here, but I have, since there's a camera. No. Wake Early College of Health and Sciences started in Wake County in 2006. And we were the first early college here. There was a whole movement of early colleges that were starting across the country at that time.
Here, I'll just move it this way so you don't have to stand there.
There was a movement of early colleges that were starting across the country at that time. And part of this was funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And the whole movement was to target students who, whose parents didn't have college degrees. And so we're looking at students who were considered first generation, which means their parents didn't have a college degree, and students who were not represented in post-secondary, which was full of people who were middle class and white and predominantly male at that time, or students who would benefit from a smaller setting, which could probably be a whole lot of kids that you know right now, right? And so this movement started across the country and specifically geared for us, mainly for students who were first generation. And so when this particular school where I work opened in 2006, at that point in time, it was a partnership, a creation of then Superintendent Bill McNeil. Some of you may have known Bill, or may know Bill, and the president at that time of Wake Med Health and Hospitals, which was Bill Atkinson at that time, and the then president of Wake Tech Community College, which was at that time Stephen Scott. And for this district, what they were thinking was that based on the projection of health science needs in our community, which have grown exponentially, as we do know, that they were looking for a means by which they could quickly drive the workforce, right? Build and drive the workforce into the hospital. And so they thought this early college is a phenomenal way to do that, right? And they were correct, it is. And so this was how they couched and delivered this first early college. Now, as with any new project that is new, innovative, and the first of its kind in a specific area, things didn't quite work out exactly as they planned, right? Of course. So, the space that they had devised to put this on didn't fit the number of kids. That campus where the lower campus is didn't offer all the classes. So we had to make some adjustments along the way. Luckily, when I arrived in January of 2012 as the third principal of this school, they had fixed all those problems when I got there, right? So I was delivered this beautiful little package, and I am so thankful to have had it. So now what our school does primarily is it is a college transfer program. So it's a public school. Any child in Wake County Public School System who is a rising 9th grader or rising 10th grader can apply to our school. There's an application. They can apply to our school. We look at their grades, and Robin's going to tell you all about this later. We look at their grades, we look at their recommendations, they write us an essay, it goes into a lottery. She'll get into all that. They apply to our school, and if accepted, they have some opportunities because we're a partner with Wake Med Health and Hospitals and Wake Tech Community College. Most of our students will get a high school diploma, of course, because that's my job to make sure they get a high school diploma. They'll get a high school diploma. They will get an associate's degree from Wake Tech, which is that first 2 years of college, regardless of where you go for the most part, because of the articulation agreement with the UNC system of college and universities. That associate's degree, those first 2 years, will transfer to any university in that system. So those first 2 years of college will be paid for, free. And then also, while with us, they can get their EMT certification, their phlebotomy, the people that pull your blood, their phlebotomy certification, their nurse aid, now medical assisting. So what all that translates into is that when kids are leaving us, and Mr. Fletcher had an opportunity to hear about this the other day at a conference, kids are leaving us, 90% of them are transferring on to college. While they're going on to college and finishing their bachelor's degree, instead of working part-time at the pizza joint or driving Uber or whatever kids do in college now while they're finishing their degrees, our students are working in a clinical setting as a nurse aide, as a phlebotomist, as a medical technician. So they're getting their clinical hours while they're finishing their bachelor's degree. And then as they wait for their peers to show up who haven't graduated yet, who are now coming, as they wait for their peers to join them, in the time frame that it would have taken them to have finished their bachelor's in a traditional setting, they're finishing their bachelor's degree and then also finishing a master's degree. And they would have usually done in that 4-year time And so these are, and that they're like, okay, that's good. Well, you get the cream of the crop. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes we get kids that, as I tell them, you should really go down the street and go down to Enloe High School, which is down the street from us, and go take 10 AP classes because you're really not my kid. I can't tell them they can't come, but I try to tell them that's the better place. The kids that we get and the kids that we should have are the kids who need to be with us, the kids who can't do it by themselves. If I can walk into this class and say, y'all are the best students in the world, here are the books, I'll be back in 180 days, make A's, see ya. Those aren't the kids I need. I need the kids that in this small setting, that if you're going to need me and I need you, right? You need the wraparound supports that we're going to offer. You need us to check on you. You need us to teach you how to be students. You need time management skills. You need social skills. You need all the stuff that someone taught us along the way so that we could figure out how to navigate this world called life and college. But they don't know how to do that, right? So we teach them all of that. And that's what makes us different. So the kids that come to us and do well and succeed and go on to do amazing things. So if you follow our social media stuff, you'll see I try to celebrate as many of them as I can. These are the kids who come to us in this small setting. We take in about 75 or 80 kids at each grade level. So at each grade level is about 75 or 80 kids. They get a chance to grow these leadership legs under them that in a traditional comprehensive 2,000 kids school, they're not going to. Because at that school, the same top 10% are the captain of everything, the president of everything. They do all the things. And these other kids get lost in the mix. But at this little early college school, they really get to become somebody. They get to really build up themselves. They get to be leaders. That's what makes us the most different. We develop their college-ready skills. We give them the academic rigor, and then we develop their little leadership legs. So when we send them out into the world, we send them on into college or whatever they do next, they are absolutely ready. And that's the feedback they give us. That's my 6-minute elevator speech. I'm going to turn it over to Robin, who's going to give you the little more brass tacks about what that looks like. This is Robin McAlexander. She is what Superintendent Kathy Moore called a coordinator because she does a little bit of everything. So she does recruitment primarily. She will tell you more about what we do.
Thank you for having us, and thank you for the work that you're doing in this community for education. We got a little bit of a briefing earlier about what you have going on, and I would like to add one thing with you. If you have access to the students we're looking for, please let them know about us. That's our biggest obstacle, is the very students we're looking for are the hardest to find. We're looking for students primarily in the 8th grade whose parents don't have a college degree. That's the weighted preference we have. Students who could benefit, they're likely to succeed in college, but they could benefit from having support that they wouldn't have if they went to high school, then went to college without that support while they were in those early colleges. So if you have access in your community, in your church, wherever you are, where those kids might be, please let them know about us. I put some cards on the table here if you'd like to take one so you have our information. We would love to have your help. I'm going to just tell you a little bit more about our school so that you can share that with those students. We have 2 campuses. That top campus you see on the left is behind Wake Med on New Bern Avenue. It's on the Perry Health Sciences campus of Wake Tech. That is where our 9th and 10th graders go to school. They accelerate high school. They take almost all the classes they need for high school graduation in 9th and 10th grade. It's compressed. It's sped up. They don't have as many electives. So they work really super hard investing in their future in 9th and 10th grade to get those courses done. When they're in the 11th grade, they move to the North Campus of Wake Tech, and that's at the Lewisburg Road exit off of 540. They are on that college transfer campus mixed in with the adult students, but most of the students on that campus are doing exactly what they're doing. They are working toward the associate degree for college transfer. As you're aware, there are tons of degrees you could get, associate degrees you could get at Wake Tech, but that is the degree our students get. They're either shooting for an Associate of Arts or an Associate of Science based on the bachelor's degree they plan to pursue when they leave us. Most of our students do this in 4 years. They can do it in 4.5 years. They can do it in 5 years. And that's a difference in student pacing. Some of them get better grades and do better if they take fewer classes at a time. And also many of them have commitments outside of school that work better with pacing a little bit more slowly. Trying to make sure I don't repeat anything that, sorry, I told you. Of course, it is free. They don't pay for tuition, and the books are loaned to them digitally or hard copies, whichever is appropriate for that class while they're with us. Just, Lisa mentioned this. These are the schools in the University of North Carolina system that all of our credits transfer to as long as the students earn a C or higher in the course. Our students can transfer their course credits to other universities, but outside of the system, the university determines for themselves how many transfer credits they will accept from other institutions. Most of our students in 9th and 10th grade are taking academic classes like they would at any other high school. And then when they're in the college classes, they're taking the general ed requirements that they would take at any four-year university. But we also try to weave in health and science education and enrichment in all the places that we can. All of our electives are health and science based, and we have a full-time career development coordinator who helps our students explore careers in broad ways when they're in the 9th and 10th grade. She brings in guest speakers, takes them out to see people in the work or education environment so they get a feel for certain careers. And as their interest narrows and they get older, they may job shadow, get internships, volunteer. Sometimes those opportunities turn into part-time jobs. It gives those kids who might not have had exposure to those careers a chance to see them from the inside while they're still in high school so that they can make better decisions about a major when they're in college. This is what it takes for those kids. We are not looking, as Lisa said, for the top academic students. Those students are going to succeed anywhere. We're looking for students who have a dream, and they know that that dream is probably going to involve getting a bachelor's degree, which is going to be expensive and it's going to take a lot of time. So if they're able to connect the work they're doing in high school with getting 2 years of free college, getting out to their career 2 years sooner, and they're willing to put those things in, they're the kid that we need. We offer a ton of support for these kids. Not only do we provide them the opportunity to be in college classes, but we make sure that they succeed in them. I won't go into all the details explaining all this to you, but during the day, we offer opportunities for them to get help and assistance from each other and from their teachers. After school, we have a program on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday where they can stay until 5 o'clock and get help from teachers, work together, be in the library, and just have a safe space to work where they might not have a quiet place to work at home. We support them as soon as their grades start to dip at all and make sure that whatever it is that they need to succeed, they have. That extends onto the North Campus when they're taking college classes. We have an English teacher, a science teacher, and a math teacher on that campus who are there to provide educational support for those students while they're taking college classes. They have time during the day to meet with those teachers, to get help if they're working on a lab or they're writing an English paper. There's someone who's familiar with those classes, who's a high school teacher, who can give them the support that they need. In other words, if you know of a student who would be a good fit for us, tell them not to worry about whether they can see, just ask them if they're willing to do the work. If they're willing to put it in, we're going to make sure that they do succeed. We are a family. We have 337 students across 5 grades. All the students know each other. Every teacher teaches every student. If you know a student who would benefit from a close-knit, small environment, we are it. If they would like to slip through the cracks, it's not going to work out because we are very involved in our students from top to bottom. We offer clubs to teach them the skills that we were mentioning up here. They're going to need those in college, but more importantly, they're going to need them in society. We have a National Honor Society, a Key Club, Community Service Club, Science Olympiad, American Red Cross, Health Occupation Students of America, a full range of clubs to help them develop those skills and get ready for college and succeed in a college application. Here are some events. If you are interested in sharing this with anyone, all of the early colleges will be represented this Saturday at Vernon Malone, which is one of our other early colleges. It gives a chance for students to talk to teachers, to staff members, to students at our school to learn more about the early college. It's a smaller environment. If they're interested in both early colleges and magnets, You might encourage them to go to the Magnet Early College Fair, which is a much bigger event. We also have an open house coming up on Thursday, the 27th. All the early colleges and all the magnet schools offer an open house. Also during the day, every week, I offer virtual and in-person tours and information sessions so that they can get all the information that they need to make a good decision. And I do want to mention most of the early colleges rely on what is called express busing. Our school is in a slightly different situation, that we have a more convenient and easier busing system. So if you know students for whom transportation might be an issue, point them in that direction and we can help them out learning more about the transportation. I would love to answer your questions and tell you more about our program if you have questions for me. Yes.
I may have missed it, but at what point does a student begin searching for admittance to your school?
That's a perfect question. The application opens on October 14th. So we're just about to start that program. Between October 14th and December 14th, when students are in the 8th grade, they apply for the following year to start high school in the fall. We also, if we have a few spots, 9th graders apply and they get filled in the 10th grade. Past that, it wouldn't work out for them to join us because they wouldn't have completed the compressed high school credits that they would need in order to start college credits. So now is the time for them to start working on that. Yes?
You said you started in the 8th grade. I remember when I was in the 8th grade, I had no idea what I wanted to do. How do these students know in the 8th grade that they want to go into health and science?
These are great questions. Thank you. My job right now is to go out. I try to get into every 8th grade, every school that has an 8th grade in Wake County and talk to them. They are interested now in health and sciences, but a lot of times students do change their minds. I'm sure all of us change our minds during high school. The great benefit is they're getting to explore health and science careers, but what they leave with is an associate degree for college transfer that can apply to any degree anywhere. So should they lose an interest in health and sciences before they leave us, it really doesn't impact the degree they leave with. And we have a liaison with Wake Tech who only serves our students. Each semester when they're planning their courses, she asks them, where are you now? Where do you think you want to go to college? What do you think you want to major in? And she helps them select courses that will push them in the direction they want to go. So should it not be health and sciences, they're still in great shape.
So maybe following up on that question, it sounds like once these students graduate from you, they're entering a 4-year university. How do they fare? They're entering those institutions at a younger age. How do they fare once they kind of get there? And how do you support them in adapting to that environment?
We try to keep in touch with them in a lot of ways, and they also try to keep in touch with us because once you're connected as family, you're always connected. Our students do really well. We get a lot of those students to come back and talk to our current students because they're the best source of information. The number one school that our students go to, if you look over the years, it's usually UNC Chapel Hill. And the number 2 goes back and forth between East Carolina and NC State. They're close enough. Our career development coordinator works with making sure that she knows where they are when they're close enough that we bring them back in as much as we can and talk to them. And they really do exceptionally well. Because they have not just prepared for college, they've been in college for 2 years and they just move right forward to another setting.
They are entering as juniors. They're entering UNC as juniors.
At 18.
At 18.
And that would mean they're graduating at 20,
Did I
right?
miss one?
Does that mean that they're graduating college at 20?
They could be. A lot of them are not planning to leave college at that time because many of our students want to go to physical therapy school, medical school, dental school. So they're not necessarily going into the workforce at 20, but they're moving on to the next step in their education at that time. And some of them do go straight to work.
I was going to ask, do you get financial support from Wake Tech, Wake Med, or is it completely Wake County funds?
It's a line item in the governor's budget, comprehensive innovative high schools.
I'm sorry.
It's a line item in the governor's budget.
Oh, okay.
That funds our school, that funds this program.
it is interesting, the legislature wanted to reduce that and not allow it in Wake County. Just think about that when you ask the legislators what they choose to vote for.
Well, they get their Wake County allotment, but this is an addition.
I know, but I'm saying that this is on top of the public school allotment.
Yeah.
But the legislature has toyed around with preventing Wake County from expanding this program, which makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to get people prepared for the workforce.
Why does Wake County?
Because we are Wake County, and that there's some leadership in the legislature that thinks we should be able to pay our own way.
There are some additional links I'll just add. There are some links that I've asked that Bob share with you, some research on early colleges. One of them specifically was a cost benefit analysis to a community of what an early college education, an early college graduate can provide. So it's worth a read. You know, maybe it might put you to sleep at night, but you know, if you're a research junkie like me, then you could enjoy that. But we spend the amount of money that I get $180,000 for being a comprehensive innovative high school. And I spend $100,000 alone each year just to provide textbook access. Typically, they're not books anymore. Typically, they're not books anymore. They're access codes because everything's online. So $100,000 of that budget are for the codes so that the students can have the books and supplies that they need. So that gives you perspective on where that money is going.
Given that success, is this a model then that could be used in more rural counties with fewer resources?
Yes, they're all over North Carolina. And in fact, you'll see we travel as part of, we have a network across North Carolina and across the country. And so this is very popular in rural counties because if the option is you go to work in the chicken farm or you're going to go to early college, and that's going to change the trajectory and the history and the economic, the situation of your family for generations to come. Once you get that first student in the family to no longer work in the chicken farm and to go on and do something different, then that changes everything. So when you see, Wake County's different, but when you see this in the smaller communities in our state, the impact that it has is phenomenal.
The biggest predictor of educational attainment is parental educational attainment. We would like to get rid of that as a predictor.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation today. And we do have gifts for both of you. These are from our member Jerry Miller, who's an artist. You probably recognize.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
Scenes around here.
Yes. Thank you so much. Sure. Thank you for having us.
Lisa and Robin, thank you so much for presenting to us today, and thank you for your great work. I mentioned one of the key areas of Empower. Our club really focuses on 3 primary areas of key impact, and one of those is education and literacy. So we greatly appreciate what you're doing. Really appreciate the innovative approach that you're taking to preparing young people for success in their careers. And I'm delighted that many of your students go on to UNC Chapel Hill, where no doubt they will achieve great success going forward. So thank you. I do want to just mention here as we move towards closing, we have some birthdays to celebrate this week. Don Finkbeiner on October 12th. Don, happy birthday. Also on October 13th, Neil Lagarde and Dorothy Schmeltzeis both have birthdays, so be sure to wish them happy birthdays. We have some member anniversaries. Ben Shiver celebrates 25 years in our club. He had some time in Rotary before that, so a total of 38 years in Rotary. That anniversary is October 14th. Gail Cabrera and Kevin Beach both celebrate 2 years in our club on the 15th. Time flies, right? Quickly went to the head of the class. Let's see. Also, Gail, is it true? October 13th, you and Charles celebrate a wedding anniversary?
It's just a little measly anniversary compared to all of y'all. We don't have to mention it.
10 years of marriage is nothing to sneeze at. Congratulations. And David and Susan Coulter celebrate their 13th wedding anniversary on October 15th. So we wish them happy anniversary. So next week's program, Rick Carnegie is going to be speaking to us about the district's housing project in the Dominican Republic. So be sure and attend next week to learn more about that. And I'll remind you, you're going to get super pumped when you hear Rick describe what is happening around this project in the DR. So be sure to speak with Leon now about going there if you're interested in actually participating in country in that project. So Leon has more information. Next week's meal is Brunswick stew with cornbread and salad. Our program in 2 weeks is our North Carolina State Auditor, Beth Wood, who no doubt will have a lot of good information to share with us. She's a wonderful speaker, and we'll look forward to welcoming her in 2 weeks. Again, Lisa and Robin, thank you so much for being here with us today. I want to thank our guests for being here with us today. Stan, it's wonderful to meet you. Thank you for being here. Scott, welcome again. Glad to have you back visiting with us today. And Nancy, welcome. I'm glad you're here with us. Thanks for being here. With that, I also want to thank those club members who supported today's meeting. Jim Lovejoy greeted you at the door. Aiden, Tim, Bill, Pat, Bob, Camille, Paul. Yeah. Paul, thank you. Paul's going to lead us out in the 4-way test. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
All things we think, say, and do.
If it is true, if it is fair to all concerned, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?